Welcome to a new 10-minute cartoon challenge. We're going to find a photograph of something that's current in the news, whether it be an animal, a person, a thing, a planet, or whatever it is. We'll go and look on the news. We'll find something that is current, get the photograph of it, and convert that into a cartoon. Having chosen the photograph, from then on, there are just 10 minutes to make the change. Do you think you could do it? You should. Do it, post me your efforts. It's brilliant for teaching you how to do things quickly and how to not get caught in too much detail. Anyway, 10 minutes we've got, 10 minutes we'll use. Let's go. Glastonbury's in the news and I'm an English cartoonist. I've chosen the stone circle at Glastonbury, which is ancient. We're going to convert this into an interesting cartoon that relates to the business of the Glastonbury Festival today. So after all, we're trying to make a cartoon, so we're trying to make something amusing. We're going to have a circle of stones. I'll just, I've chosen the wrong item for that. Sketching, pencil, yeah, good. So we'll map out this circle like this, and we'll put the stones on the circle. Again, we're working, as you know, we're working pretty fast on this. So the pencil side of it really is just mapping. And these are quite randomly shaped, these stones. You can see in the photograph, quite randomly shaped. But this is all about Glastonbury. I'm sure you've all seen or heard something of it. If not this year, then of course over the years that it's been going on. Probably one of the most famous events in the music calendar. Excuse me. But these stone circles, I mean, there are lots of theories about what they were used for, lots of theories. There's nothing definitive as far as I know, but the feeling is that they were used at the time of druids, and so we're going to play with that concept. Let me now erase the photograph, because that's all I need for this is the approximate idea, and I don't want to keep using it as a reference. I just want the idea in my mind. So we've got this stone circle, and I'm going to add into it singing druid, because that should be quite funny. Big beard on the singing druid, eyes closed in supplication to the gods, mouth open like this. Note the speed. Note the speed. It's very important, the speed. And anyway, we've only got a few minutes to get the whole thing done. So this is really good for your inventiveness. Druids, we think, always wore these white robes, so we're going to give him white robes. And his little shoes down here. We need some people sitting around the outside, watching, probably hugging their knees. Let's have them hug their knees like this. And two standing. We have a lady here like this in her long shift. Because of the time allowed, we can only really give them the smallest amount of detail, because it's a lot of people to try and fit in, and that's the 10-minute challenge, isn't it? That's what it's all about. I mean, you might say to yourself, oh well, I'll kind of cheat and I won't use the pencil stage, and I can understand that if you decided that you didn't want to use the pencil stage in this. Let's have some people this side. Nice long hair like this, body like this. Shapeless robes, ideal for rapid drawing. A shapeless robe. No belt on like that. The important thing about these people who are standing here watching this concert, as we might call it, is that they've got their backs to us, so we don't have to worry too much about what they look like, or whether they're male, female, whatever they are. They're just like that. I think, yeah, we can do better than this. Let's have one of them joining in with the singing as well, in this fashion. We don't need the detail till we start putting the ink on there. I think I'll put somebody over here as well, long hair like that, face, and shapeless gown, wonderful shapeless gown for this kind of thing. It has a belt, and we'll have this person sort of showing some enthusiasm for what's being done in this way. Arm outstretched. In fact, why not both arms outstretched? Okay, we kind of got the idea now. I'm now going to knock back the density, the opacity of this one, add a new layer, which is going to be the inking layer, and now we can start to get to work with the inking. Now, I don't want a pen that's too big, so let's get started with our man in the middle who's doing the singing. Eyebrows up like this. And remember, he's if you like, he's sort of in supplication to the gods, this chap. And we're going to make him bald, but as I quite like doing with bald people, we'll give him the odd hair coming out like this. Nice big beard, and a big sort of singing gesture here with his arms. I wonder if your drawing style actually suits this kind of thing. It might well do, but it's really good for those people who want to try and get into the detail too quickly, because it shows you that it's kind of a good idea to map a drawing out rapidly at the start, because your picture will, or should be, more vibrant and have a bit more about it than something that you've kind of stared at for ages. We'll give him a pouch on his waist here, you know, that you've stared at and you've thought about. And sometimes, as you know, everybody knows this, sometimes you can just end up overthinking a thing. Now, I don't want to make his, I started out the pencil version of this, his shift, if you like, or his gown is a bit too ragged. I don't want it particularly ragged. And his feet are in the grass, so here's some grass. Do that. And we'll put grass under him. If we show the grass that's under him, then what's going on there is we're showing that there's shadow. And in the areas where there's no grass, then there's pretty much no shadow. So here we are. Here's the assembled multitude. They've usually got some kind of a belt on or something like that. This one's got we'll give him a nice, him or her, a nice long gown like that. This one, the one who's sitting down, will take a little bit more thought, but we want him to look happy. There he is. He looks fairly happy, I think. Because they've come a long way. They've come to Glastonbury to see this druid, and probably some others as well, doing their thing. So, you know, yeah, we'll get his fingers intertwined like this. That's it. That's the way to do it. It's a funny little squiggle, but it works quite nicely, as you can see. So he's now sitting there, seemingly in some comfort. He's got his robe as well. Actually, no, we'll do without the robe for him. We'll keep him in the land of what do you say, trousers, I suppose, pants, if you like. Get that rock in there like that. not forgetting that all the rocks have got grass at their base. And we give this girl a flower in her hair like that, which is quite appropriate for the world of druidism and so forth, I think. Yeah, nice shapeless gown again for her. Give her a bit of, we'll stand her in some slightly longer grass because it gives us a bit of a shortcut in not having to draw her feet. It's kind of cheating, if you like. Don't have to be studious about the shape of these rocks. That's not important. Let's just see how much time we've got. Ah, we're finished. We're done. That's 10 minutes. So, a bit of a fail today, I'm afraid, but you can see where it's going. And if I remove layer 1, you can see that we've actually got something quite nice, really. But didn't do it in time, maybe chose something a bit too ambitious. Doesn't matter, I'll put it up as a film anyway, because it still gives you the idea of how to go about doing this. And I may yet finish the picture, but we'll hold it at that at the moment, and let's see what you think of this. Well, there you are. We came up against the clock. That's the way it works sometimes. If I was faced with that again, where you can see in the picture that there's quite a few things to do, what I might have done was have used the photograph itself as the background drawing, and just work off that using, doing the inking off that. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's a better way to do it. But what I'm trying to do here with these 10-minute sessions is just show you about doing things quickly and how you can still produce something that's pretty decent. So if I was to be working on that without a clock, I would have probably taken 20 minutes over it. But it's fun to do it this way. It really pushes you, and it really gives you a good exercise and teaches you not to get too caught up in detail. Anyway, no problem. We'll see you next time.